right? We're back, finding mountain pose. The second and third toes pointing straight ahead, feet about the width of the hips. I'm gonna, right away today, just grab the block, or if again you have your rolled up mat or a blanket, you can use that. Place it between the inner thighs, and a little softness into the knees and on the pelvis. Think of your bowl shape again. Is your bowl tipping forward? Is it tipping back? Just notice. We can even adjust that a little bit. As I inhale, my pelvis sinks down, and I find that neutral position, adding just a little sense of reach up through the top of the head to find balance. Let's do one more thing today, finding the center of the ribs. Helpful for some of our energy work we're doing in the poses. So my right hand just below the sternum on the front of the lower rib cage, left hand on the back. You can think of your thumb touching the sternum, and on the back, right between the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. For women, it's like right at the bra line where your thumb would be. Okay, this is where our diaphragm exists. It's the breathing muscle. I'm going to just actually shift my rib cage back a little bit into my backhand and then let it release forward, noticing how that actually even affects the position of the weight in the feet. Actually, we're just adjusting one of our centers, right? That's actually what the bandhas are in the body. They're the centers of the pelvis, the ribs, the skull. Now I want to think of the center of my ribs just floating back to the space right over the base of the pelvis. Again, adding that lift of back of soft palate or the back of the roof of the mouth and the crown of the head. Add the arms stretching up. And then bend your elbows, let the arm bones fall down right beside the ribs. I turn my hands out, again inhaling as I reach up. And exhaling to bring it down. It's a great concept to use when you're practicing the chaturanga, is actually thinking of how gravity actually just brings your limbs towards the center. And when we're in our actual chaturanga on the ground, it's actually the reverse of that, our body coming through the limbs. Notice any adjustments that your body wants to do, crunching the back or the neck, straining anywhere. And just keep it nice and soft. Okay, we're going to switch the direction now, so you're going forward and up with the fingers, and then out and back down. And the last round here, as the elbows come by our sides, fingers pointing out, I'm going to lift my shoulders up, let them shrug any amount, and then release back down. Stay where you're at. I'm going to adjust a little bit. You might notice the squeeze between the shoulder blades. How does that change as you go up versus down? What parts do you feel activating what muscles? We again want to just be aware. Okay, and then my arms stretch out to the sides. I'm going to do a little rotation, turn the palms up, and then down. Feel how the arm bones move in your shoulder joints. Again, notice that light lift through the top of the spine, but try not to overuse those back muscles so we stay nice and centered. Palms forward, elbows come back in, and I'm going to take my hands behind my back, interlacing the fingers. The chest expansion. I'm going to go ahead and turn around just so you can see me from this side. And again here, not about how far we can go, right? As I lift, I might find that I tense up certain spaces in my body. I'm going to stay grounded through the root, just slightly lifting through the top of the body. My arms begin to lift. You can adjust the shoulders, find a position that gives you the most space. You can also rotate the arm bones a little bit, see how that does. Eventually, my elbows extend, my palms come together, but not at the expense of my back. So just find a good balance there. Continue to maintain your breath. Slight lift to the center of collarbones you can find helpful for any chest opening poses. We lift the center of the ribs, gives us a little more space in the muscles around the rib cage. Go ahead and let that go. Shake out the arms a little bit. Just melt forward into your forward bend. Like our cow pose, the flat back, we softly bend the knees, lift base of pelvis, lift the crown. And then like your cat pose, let it go. Release, rounding and dropping down. 2 more with that. Inhale up. Equal weight in the fronts and backs of your feet, pushing the hips back a little bit, just like in our cow pose again. We can find a little more space, a little more softness in the lower back, the hamstrings. And with the knees bent, tailbone tucks, we again use our center. Squeeze the block, find Mula Bandha, and stack, rising up. Arms reach back out and up. And we'll bring it down to midline. Again, practicing our chair pose with the block. So inhale, pelvis sinks. This time your pelvis tips forward, torso follows, a nice neutral spine. Arms can stretch forward or up here. And then ground through the root, lift internally, find that inner energy to bring you up. Inhale to sink it down. And exhale to lift. Go ahead and take that block out, shake the legs out a little. You can set the block to the side. When you find your mountain pose again, reach the arms up. Take a few crescent bends, hips moving one direction, body bends the other. Again, I'm staying soft in the knees, grounded through my root. As I come to the midline, focus on squeezing the block, imaginary block, lifting through the center. So just like those little windshield movements we did, we're always guiding our movement from that energy in the center of the body. I'm lifting up. Body comes back to the midline, and then I just let it go. Return to center, reach the arms back behind you, interlace again. See if you notice what thumb and index finger you tend to put on top. Try to switch that just to mix it up. Okay, find the depth of your chest expansion that works for you. A couple of breaths. Exhale, fold forward. If you can, keep the chest expansion. If you need to let it go, you can let it go. From my forward fold, again, I'm lifting halfway up. Maybe again, maintaining the arm position as is. Exhaling, going a little deeper. Hey, again, if that's not happening for you today, you're here. Flat back pose. A little extra support, hands on shins, or you can use your block. Maybe you're still in that chest expansion. So if I'm in my chest expansion, I'm gonna actually just melt the body back forward, bend my left knee and pull the arms to the left. Okay, if you're not in the chest expansion, when the left knee bends, right hand reaches up. And then we switch back and forth. So I'll show the modification here for a round or two. Inhaling to twist, exhaling to release. Again, that equal weight through the feet, just finding the movement, noticing what comes up. If you are holding that chest opener, just back and forth, going a little deeper each time. Come back to center, release all the way down. Move your block to the side, plant the hands, step the feet back. Okay, we've got our, again, knee down variation is an option. Exhale, you're bringing it forward. Inhaling, you're going back. Now practicing the chaturanga just like we did with our arms. As I come forward, I'm going to focus to the midline, strong in my center. As I exhale, squeeze arms in, gravity brings the body to the earth. Tops of the feet come down, ground through the root, lift through your center any amount. Low cobra, high cobra, upward dog. Back to our downward dog, or child's pose. Deep breaths here, let some of that energy go. You're in child's pose. Lift the hips, then tuck the toes, lift the knees, downward dog. From downward dog, a big arc of the hips. So knees bend, hips arc high. As you come forward, you can step one foot as far as it goes, and then lift the hips again to step the other foot. Settle, get grounded, lift halfway up on your inhale. Exhale to mount deeper. And then stack the centers of the body, rising back up, arms reach up. And we bring it back to midline. Good. Next, we're going to play with a little bit of balance. I'm just going to again turn towards the camera. You should stay facing forward towards the center of your mat, but you can see a little more easily this way. So I'm going to now just play with my weight balance, shifting side to side. So my center is actually given by the position of the pelvis. If I keep that slight reach up to the crown, I can keep more connections. That's really helpful too. Going side to side, you'll feel the weight shift from one foot to the other. You can even sink down a little bit, get a really good sense of what we call apana, that grounding or downward energy. And then the next time I'm over my right foot, I'm gonna pause here. Using Mula Bandha, lifting from the root, giving that energy a nice reach up through the crown, my left leg becomes weightless and I lift it up. If you feel pretty stable there, you can reach the arms out and up. Again, the arms come from the center of the ribs. That energy reaching gives us even more sense of lightness, but we want to maintain that we're not over tensing the knee or the back. You're staying grounded as well. Some of you might choose to extend the left leg forward, nice and active through the foot. We'll bend the knee if it's straight, bring the foot down, bring the hands down, and then just find your weight settling into the left side. When you're there, lift from Mula Bandha, reach up through the crown, the right leg becomes weightless. We don't need it anymore, we can just float it up. You're still active through that right foot, right thigh. Arms can float up here, leg extends. And we'll release. Okay, I'm gonna have you do a few more rounds side to side. I'll turn back towards the front of my own mat here. I'm shifting to the right, lifting left, and letting it go. Shifting to the left, lifting the right, and letting it go. Keep going back and forth. Just notice. In our experience, we don't care if we're successful in the balance or if it's easy or hard. Right? Those are all just kind of conditions of energy that are present right now in your body, in your mind. Can you observe those without judgment and just be kind of here, present, right? Give that one more round to each side. Again, our chair pose, Utkatasana, hips sink down, arms stretch. So you can find your twist, bringing palms to prayer. I'm rotating towards my left, bringing my right elbow to the top of the left thigh. Like the flat back pose, sitting bones reach back, crown of the head reaches forward. Eventually the pelvis sinks lower, but don't force it. Again, you want to stay balanced, grounded through the feet, nice and centered. Inhale back to Utkatasana. Exhale, take a twist to the other side. Find balance for you. Release back to center. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Feel free to just hang out for a few breaths in forward fold. If you again want to take the vinyasa, feet travel back, downward dog, plank pose, knees down or up. Exhaling, lower, inhale to lift, and return to downward dog. Again, arch the hips high, knees bend on the inhale, exhale, hips lift, step the opposite foot forward if you can remember which that is, and then again, big lift with the hips to return to the front of the mat. Halfway up on inhale, let it go on your exhale. Mountain pose. Upward reach, and back to center.